The History of Troilus and Cressida, Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Ajax and Thersites. Ajax. Thersites. Agamemnon, how if he had biles, full all over generally? Thersites. And those biles did run, say so. Did not the general run then? Were not that a botchy corps? Dog! Then would come some matter from him, I see none now. Thou bitch wolf's son, canst thou not hear? Feel then the plague of Greece upon thee, thou mongrel beef-witted lord. Speak then, thou whinest leaven, speak. I will beat thee into handsomeness. I shall sooner rail thee into wit and holiness, but I think thy horse will sooner con an oration without a book than thou learn a prayer without a book. Thou canst strike, canst thou? A red murrion are thy jade's tricks. Toadstool, learn me the proclamation. Dost thou think I have no sense? Thou strikest me thus. The proclamation. Thou art proclaimed fool, I think. Do not, Porpentine, do not my fingers itch. I would thou didst itch from head to foot, and I had the scratching of thee. I would make thee the loathsomest scab in Greece. When thou art forth in the incursions, thou strikest as slow as another. I say the proclamation. Thou grumblest and railest every hour on Achilles, and thou art as full of envy at his greatness as Cerberus, as at Prosperina's beauty, that thou barkest at him. Mistress Thersites, thou shouldest strike him. Cob loaf, he would pun thee into shivers with his fist, as a sailor breaks a biscuit. You whoreson cure, do, thou stool for a witch, do, thou sodden-witted lord, thou hast no more brain than I have in mine elbows. An Asinico may tutor thee, you scurvy valiant ass. Thou art here but to thrash Trojans, and thou art bought and sold among those of any wit, like a barbarian slave. If thou use to beat me, I will begin at thy heel, and tell what thou art by inches, thou thing of no bowels, thou. You dog, you scurvy lord, you cure, Mars his idiot, do rudeness, do camel, do. Why, how now, Ajax, wherefore do ye thus? How now, Thersites, what's the matter, man? You see him there, do you? What's the matter? Nay, look upon him. So I do, what's the matter? Nay, but regard him well. Well? Why, so I do. But yet you look not well upon him, for whosoever you take him to be, he is Ajax. I know that fool. But that fool knows not himself. Therefore I beat thee. Lo, 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 lo! What modicums of wit he utters! His evasions have ears thus long. I have bobbed his brain more than he has beat my bones. I will buy 9 sparrows for a penny, and his pia mater is not worth the 9th part of a sparrow. This Lord Achilles Ajax, who wears his wit in his belly and his guts in his head, I'll tell you what I say of him. What? I say this, Ajax. Nay, good Ajax, has not so much wit, nay, I must hold you, as will stop the eye of Helen's needle, for whom he comes to fight. Peace, fool! I would have peace and quietness, but the fool will not, he there, that he, look you here. O thou damned cure, I shall, will you set your wit to a fool's? No, I warrant you, the fools will shame it. Good words, Thersites. What's the quarrel? I bade the vile owl go learn me the tenor of the proclamation, and he rails upon me. I serve thee not. Well, go to, I serve here voluntarily. Your last service was sufferance, 'twas not voluntary. No man is beaten voluntary. Ajax was here the voluntary, and you as under an impress. Even so, a great deal of your wit, too, lies in your sinews, or else there be liars. Hector shall have a great catch, and a knock out either of your brains. A were as good crack a fusty nut with no kernel. What, with me too? Thersites! There's Ulysses and old Nestor, whose wit was mouldy ere your grandsires had nails on their toes. Yoke you like drought oxen, and make you plough up the wars. What? Yes, good sooth, to Achilles, to Ajax, to... I shall cut out your tongue. 'Tis no matter. I shall speak as much as thou afterwards. No more words, Thersites, peace. I will hold my peace when Achilles bids me, shall I? There's for you, Patroclus. I will see you hanged like clat-poles ere I come any more to your tents. I will keep where there is wit stirring, and leave the faction of fools. A good riddance. Marry, this is, sir, is proclaimed through all our host, that Hector by the fit hour of the sun will with a trumpet twixt our tents and Troy tomorrow morning call some knight to arms, that hath a stomach, and such a one that dare maintain I know not what 'tis trash. Farewell. Farewell! Who shall answer him? I know not. 'Tis put to lottery. Otherwise he knew his man. Oh, meaning you? I will go learn more of it. Oh. My yearly drink. I get a drink once a year, so I don't have to be a teetotaler. I'm having tequila. Just about half a cup. It's nasty. Okay. No, I don't drink much. Oh, it's bad for the health. And the people are scum. Scene 2. Enter Priam, Hector, Troilus, Paris, and Helenus. Priam. After so many hours live speeches spent, thus once again says Nestor from the Greeks. Deliver Helen and all damage else, as honor, loss of time, travail, expense, wounds, friends, and what else dear that is consumed in hot digestion of this cormorant war, shall be struck off. Hector, what say you to it? Though no man lesser fears the Greeks than I, as far as toucheth my particular, yet dread Priam, there is no lady of more softer bowels, more spongy to suck, in the sense of fear, more ready to cry out, who knows what follows, than Hector is. The wound of peace is surety, surety secure, but modest doubt is called the beacon of the wise, the tent that searches to the bottom of the worst. Let Helen go. Since the first sword was drawn about this question, every tithe soul amongst many thousand dismays hath been as dear as Helen, I mean of ours. If we have lost so many tenths of ours, to guard a thing not ours nor worth to us, edit our name, the value of 1/10. What merits in that reason which denies the yielding of her up? Fie, fie, my brother, weigh yo the worth and honor of a king, so great as our dread fathers in a scale of common ounces. Will you with compters sum the past proportion of his infinite, and buckle in a waist most fathomless, with spans and inches so diminutive as fears and reasons? Fie for godly shame. No marvel though you bite so sharp at reasons, you are so empty of them. Should not our Father bear the great sway of his affairs with reason, because your speech hath none that tell him so? You are for dreams and slumbers, brother priest. You fur your gloves with reason. Here are your reasons. You know an enemy intends you harm. You know a sword employed is perilous, and reason flies the object of all harm. Who marvels then when Helenus beholds a Grecian in his sword, if he do set the very wings of reason to his heels, and fly like chidden Mercury from Jove, or like a star disorbed? Nay, if we talk of reason, let's shut our gates and sleep. Manhood and honor should have hare hearts, would they but fat their thoughts with this crammed reason. Reason and respect make livers pale and a lustihood deject. Brother, she is not worth what she doth cost the keeping. What's aught but as 'tis valued? But value dwells not in particular will. It holds his estimate in dignity, as well wherein 'tis precious of itself, as in the prizer. 'Tis mad idolatry to make the service greater than the god, and the will dotes that is attributive to what infectiously in itself affects, without some image of the affected merit. I take today a wife, and my election is led on in the conduct of my will enkindled by mine eyes and ears. Two traded pilots twixt the dangerous shores of will and judgment. How may I avoid, although my will distaste what it elected, the wife I chose? There can be no evasion to blench from this, and to stand firm by honor. We turn not back the silks upon the merchant when we have soiled them, nor the remainder viands we do not throw in unrespective sieve, because we now are full. It was thought meet Paris should do some vengeance on the Greeks. Your breath with full consent bellied his sails. The seas and winds, old wranglers, took a truce, and did him service. He touched the ports desired, and for an old aunt whom the Greeks held captive, he brought the Grecian queen, whose youth and freshness wrinkles Apollo's, and makes pale the morning. Why keep we here? The Grecians keep our aunt. Is she worth keeping? Why, she is a pearl, whose price hath launched above 1,000 ships, and turned crowned kings to merchants. If you'll avouch 'twas wisdom Paris went, as you must needs, for you all cried, Go, go. If you'll confess, he brought home worthy prize, as you must needs, for you all clapped your hands, and cried, Inestimable! Why do you now the issue of your proper wisdom's rate, and do a deed that never fortune did? Beggar the estimation which you prized richer than sea and land. O theft most base, that we have stolen what we do fear to keep. But thieves unworthy of a thing so stolen, that in their country did them that disgrace, we fear to warrant in our native place. Cry, Trojans, cry! What noise, what shrike is this? 'Tis our mad sister, I do know her voice. Cry, Trojans, it is Cassandra. Cry, Trojans, cry, lend me 10,000 eyes, and I will fill them with prophetic tears. Peace, sister, peace. Virgins and boys, mid-age and wrinkled, soft infancy that nothing canst but cry. Add to my clamors, let us pay betimes a moiety of that mass of moan to come. Cry, Trojans, cry. Practice your eyes with tears. Troy must not be, nor goodly Ilion stand. Our firebrand brother Paris burns us all. Cry, Trojans, cry, a Helen and a woe. Cry, cry. Troy burns, or else let Helen go. Now, youthful Troilus, do not these high strains of divination in our sister work some touches of remorse? Or is your blood so madly hot that no discourse of reason, nor fear of bad success in a bad cause, can qualify the same? Why, brother Hector, we may not think the justness of each act, such and no other than event doth form it, nor once deject the courage of our minds, because Cassandra's mad. Her brain-sick raptures cannot distaste the goodness of a quarrel, which hath our several honors all engaged to make it gracious. For my private part, I am no more touched than all Priam's sons, and Jove forbid there should be done amongst us such things as might offend the weakest spleen to fight for and maintain. Else might the world convince of levity as well my undertakings as your counsels, but I attest the gods, your full consent, gave wings to my propension, and cut off all fears attending on so dire a project. For what? Alas, can these my single arms? What propugnation is one in man's valor to stand the push and enmity of those this quarrel would excite? Yet I protest, were I alone to pass the difficulties, and had as ample power as I have will, Paris should never retract what he hath done, nor faint in the pursuit. Paris, you speak like one besotted in your sweet delights. You have the honey still, but these the gall. So to be valiant is no praise at all. Sir, I propose not merely to myself the pleasures such a beauty brings with it, but I would have the soil of her fair rape wiped off in honorable keeping her. What treason were it to the ransacked queen, disgrace to your great worths, and shame to me? Now to deliver her possession up on terms of base compulsion, can it be that so degenerate a strain as this should once set footing in your generous bosoms? That's not the meanest spirit on our party. Without a heart to dare, or sword to draw, when Helen is defended, nor none so noble whose life were ill bestowed, or death unfamed, where Helen is the subject, then I say, well may we fight for her whom we know well the world's large spaces cannot parallel. Paris and Troilus, you have both said well, and on the cause and question now in hand have glozed, but superficially, not much unlike young men whom Aristotle thought unfit to hear moral philosophy. The reasons you allege do more conduce to the hot passion of distempered blood than to make up a free determination twixt right and wrong, for pleasure and revenge have ears more deaf than adders to the voice of any true decision. Nature craves all dues be rendered to their owners. Now, what nearer debt in all humanity than wife is to the husband, if this law of nature be corrupted through affection, and that great minds of partial indulgence to their benumbed wills resist the same? There is a law in each well-ordered nation to curb those raging appetites that are most disobedient and refractory. If Helen then to be wife to Sparta's king, as it is known she is, these moral laws of nature and of nations speak aloud to have her back returned. Thus to persist in doing wrong extenuates no wrong, but makes it much more heavy. Hector's opinion is this in way of truth, yet nevertheless, my sprightly brethren, I propend to you in resolution to keep Helen still, for 'tis a cause that hath no mean dependence upon our joint and several dignities. Why, there you touched the life of our design. Were it not glory that we more affected than the performance of our heavy heaving spleens, I would not wish a drop of Troyan blood spent more in her defense. But worthy Hector, she is a theme of honor and renown, a spur to the valiant and magnanimous deeds, whose present courage may beat down our foes, and fame in time to come canonize us. For I presume brave Hector would not lose so rich advantage of a promised glory as smiles upon the forehead of this action for the wide world's revenue. I am yours, you valiant offspring of great Priamus. I have a roisting challenge sent amongst the dull and factious nobles of the Greeks, will strike amazement to their drowsy spirits. I was advertised, their great general slept, whilst emulation in the army crept. This, I presume, will wake him. And we have a graphic. This is their deity or god. Maybe Agamemnon or Hector, Troilus, one of them. One of their greats. Ho, ho, ho. And we move on. Geez, don't want to throw up. So I'm just having less than a little sip. Little drop. It's really bad stuff. Ha ha ha, so good. Made out of the agave. Scene 3. Enter Thersites Solus. Thersites. How now, Thersites? What lost in the labyrinth of thy fury? Shall the elephant Ajax carry it thus? He beats me, and I rail at him. O worthy satisfaction! Would it were otherwise, that I could beat him, whilst he railed at me. S'foot, I'll learn to conjure and raise devils, but I'll see some issue of my spiteful execrations. Then there's Achilles, a rare engineer. If Troy be not taken till these two undermine it, the walls will stand till they fall of themselves. O thou great thunder darter of Olympus, forget that thou art Jove, the king of gods, and Mercury. Lose all the serpentine craft of thy caduceus. If ye take not that little less than little wit from them that they have, which short-armed ignorance itself knows is so abundant scarce, it will not in circumvention deliver a fly from a spider, without drawing their massy irons and cutting the web. After this, the vengeance on the whole camp, or rather the Neapolitan bone ache, for that methinks is the curse depending on those that war for a placket. I have said my prayers, and devil envy say amen. What ho, my lord Achilles! Who's there, Thersites? Good Thersites, come in and rail. If I could have remembered a gilt counterfeit, thou wouldst not have slipped out my contemplation. But it is no matter, thyself upon thyself. The common curse of mankind, folly and ignorance, be thine in great revenue. Heaven bless thee from a tutor, and a discipline come not near thee. Leave thy blood be thy direction till thy death. Then if she that lays thee out says thou art a fair course, I'll be sworn and sworn upon it she never shrouded any but Lazars. Amen. Where's Achilles? What art thou, devout? Wast thou in prayer? The heavens hear me. Amen. Who's there? Thersites, my lord. Where, oh where? Art thou come? Why, my cheese, my digestion? Why hast thou not served thyself into my table so many meals? Come, what's Agamemnon? Thy commander Achilles. Then tell me, Patroclus, what's Achilles? Thy lord Thersites. Then tell me, I pray thee, what's Thersites? Thy knower, Patroclus. Then tell me, Patroclus, what art thou? Thou must tell that knowest. Oh, tell, tell. I'll decline the whole question. Agamemnon commands Achilles. Achilles is my lord. I am Patroclus, knower, and Patroclus is a fool. You rascal! Peace, fool, I have not done. He is a privileged man. Proceed, Thersites. Agamemnon is a fool. Achilles is a fool. Thersites is a fool. And as aforesaid, Patroclus is a fool. Derive this, come. Agamemnon is a fool to offer to command Achilles. Achilles is a fool to be commanded of Agamemnon. Thersites is a fool to serve such a fool. And this Patroclus is a fool, positive. Why am I a fool? Make that demand of the prover. It suffices me thou art. Look you, who comes here? Come, Patroclus, I'll speak with nobody. Come in with me, Thersites. Here is such patchery, such juggling, and such knavery. All the argument is a whore and a cuckold. A good quarrel to draw emulous factions and bleed to death upon. Now the dry Sapiago on the subject, and war and lechery confound all. Where is Achilles? Within his tent, but I'll dispose, my lord. Let it be known to him that we are here. He sent our messengers, and we lay by our appertainings visiting of him. Let him be told so, lest perchance he think we dare not move the question of our place, or know not what we are. I shall say so to him. We saw him at the opening of his tent. He is not sick. Yes, lion sick, sick of proud heart. You may call it melancholy, if you will favor the man. But by my head 'tis pride. But why? Let him show us a cause. A word, my lord. What moves Ajax thus to bay at him? Achilles hath inveigled his fool from him. Who, Thersites? Yea, he. Then will Ajax lack matter if he have lost his argument? No. You see, he is his argument that has his argument, Achilles. All the better. Their fraction is more our wish than their fraction. But it was a strong composure a fool could disunite. The amity that wisdom knits not, folly may easily untie. Here comes Patroclus. No, Achilles with him. The elephant hath joints, but none for courtesy. His legs are legs for necessity, not for flexure. Achilles bids me say he is much sorry, if anything more than your sport and pleasure did move your greatness and this noble state, to call upon him. He hopes it is no other, but for your health and your digestion's sake, and after dinner's breath. Hear you, Patroclus, we are too well acquainted with these answers, but his evasion, winged thus swift with scorn, cannot outfly our apprehensions. Much attribute he hath, and much the reason why we ascribe it to him. Yet all his virtues, not virtuously on his own part beheld, do in our eyes begin to lose their gloss. Ye, like fair fruit in an unwholesome dish, are like to rot untasted. Go and tell him, we come to speak with him, and you shall not sin if you do say we think him overproud and under-honest. In self-assumption greater than in the note of judgment, and worthier than himself, here tend the savage strangeness he puts on, disguise the holy strength of their command, and underwrite in an observing kind his humorous predominance. Ye, watch his pettish lines, his ebbs, his flows, as if the passage and whole carriage of his action rode on his tide. Go tell him this, and add, that if he overhold his price so much, will none of him, but let him, like an engine not portable, lie under this report. Bring action hither. This cannot go to war. A stirring dwarf we do allowance give before a sleeping giant. Tell him so. I shall, and bring his answer presently. In second voice will not be satisfied. We come to speak with him, Ulysses. Enter you. What is he more than another? No more than what he thinks he is. Is he so much? Do you not think he thinks himself a better man than I am? No question. Will you subscribe his thought and say he is? No, noble Ajax, you are as strong, as valiant, as wise, no less noble, much more gentle, and altogether more tractable. Why should a man be proud? How doth pride grow? I know not what pride is. Your mind is the clearer, Ajax, and your virtues the fairer. He that is proud eats up himself. Pride is his own glass, his own trumpet, his own chronicle, and whatever praises itself but in the deed, devours the deed in the praise. I do hate a proud man, as I do hate the engendering of toads. And yet he loves himself. Is it not strange? Achilles will not find to the field tomorrow. What's his excuse? He doth rely on none, but carries on the stream of his dispose, without observance or respect of any, in will peculiar in self-admission. Why will he not upon our fair request untent his person and share the air with us? Things small as nothing, for request's sake only, he makes important. Possessed he is with greatness, and speaks not to himself, but with a pride that quarrels at self-breath, imagined worth, holds in his blood such swollen and hot discourse, that twixt his mental and his active parts, kingdomed Achilles in commotion rages, and batters down himself. What should I say? He is so plaguy proud, that the death tokens of it cry, no recovery. Let Ajax go to him. Dear Lord, go you and greet him in his tent. 'Tis said he holds you well, and will be led at your request a little from himself. O Agamemnon, let it not be so. We'll consecrate the steps that Ajax makes when they go from Achilles. Shall the proud lord that bastes his arrogance with his own seam, and never suffers matter of the world enter his thoughts, save such as doth revolve and ruminate himself? Shall he be worshipped of that we hold an idol more than he? No, This thrice worthy and right valiant lord shall not so stale his palm, nobly acquired, nor by my will subjugate his merit, as amply titled his Achilles is, by going to Achilles, that were enlard his fat already pride, and add more coals to cancer when he burns with entertaining great Hyperion. This lord go to him, Jupiter forbid, and say in thunder, Achilles go to him. Oh, this is well, he rubs the vein of him, and how his silence drinks up his applause. If I go to him with my armed fist, I'll pash him over the face. Oh no, you shall not go. And he be proud with me, I'll feeze his pride. Let me go to him. Not for worth that hangs upon our quarrel, a paltry, innocent fellow. How he describes himself, can he not be sociable? The raven chides blackness, I'll let his humors blood. He will be the physician that should be the patient, and all men were of my mind, which would be out of fashion. Should not bear it so, should eat swords first, shall pride carry it? And 'twould you'd carry half. Would have 10 shares, I will knead him, I will make him supple, he's not yet through warm. Force him with praises, pour in, his ambition is dry. My lord, you feed too much on this dislike. Our noble general, do not do so. You must prepare to fight without Achilles. Why, 'tis this naming of him does him harm. Here is a man, but 'tis before his face I will be silent. Wherefore should you so? He is not emulous as Achilles is. Know the whole world he is as valiant. A whoreson dog that shall palter with us thus. Would he were a Trojan? What a vice were it in Ajax now, if he were proud, or covetous of praise, or surly born, or strange, or self-affected. Thank the heavens, Lord, thou art of sweet composure. Praise him that gat thee, she that thee suck, famed by thy tutor, and thy parts of nature thrice famed beyond all erudition. But he that disciplined thine arms to fight, let Mars divide eternity in twain, and give him half, and for thy vigor, bull-bearing Milo his addition yield to sinewy Ajax. I will not praise thy wisdom, which like a bourne a pale shore confines. Thy spacious and dilated parts, here's Nestor, instructed by the antiquary times. He must, he is, he cannot but be wise. But pardon, Father Nestor, were your days as green as Ajax's, and your brain so tempered, you should not have the eminence of him, but be as Ajax. Shall I call you father? Nay, my good son, yea. Be ruled by him, Lord Ajax. There is no tarrying here. The heart Achilles keeps thicket. Please it our great general to call together all his state of war. Fresh kings are come to Troy. Tomorrow we must with all our main of power stand fast. And here's a lord, come knights from east to west, and cull their flower. Ajax shall cope the best. Go we to council, let Achilles sleep. Light boats sail swift, though greater hulks draw deep. End of Act 2. Praise be to God. Jah Rastafari, Jesus Christ. Amen. Here's that little look of tequila That's that Mexican drink from the agave. Look at me. Oh, that's a lot. You having more? Yeah, fuck. Alcohol mexicano. Tequila. Hecho en México. Gracias a Dios. William Shakespeare.